Go for it.
Grand day, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. What a fine pleasure it is to be here as always. I'm your host, Steele Greye, and we don't disappoint here. We always have a great person, a great conversation. So if this is your first time here, please continue to come. But before we start today, I have a little joke for you. A little joke in the spirituality, consciousness realm. And the joke is this. So a Zen master comes to New York City and he says, "Oh, a hot dog stand." He goes over to it and he goes, make me one with everything." The hot dog guy goes, "Okay, great, coming up." He puts everything together, and he gives it to them. And he says, "That's $20. He goes, $20? He gives it to him. He goes, "Where's my change?" He goes, "There's no change. Change comes from within." Roll that tape. Yeah.
I love it. Change comes.
Yes. You know, I bring you what I can with what I have in my. Anyway, like I said, thank you so much for being here. I'm Steele Greye, along with Giovanni, the man himself, full of consciousness today. And we have a great guest for you today that if you've been following us, you've seen this beautiful woman before. We're going to get to her in a second. But before, let's talk to a couple people and see what's going on in our lovely home base here. Let's start with Mr. Farid. Farid, where are you?
Good morning, Chase. I am here. I am in the present.
Nice. I like that. Nice to see you here, by the way.
Thank you so much. Always glad to be here.
Let's go with Obdulia. Am I saying that right? Obdulia Ortiz. I like that name.
Yes, you're saying it right. Good morning.
Spectacular. How are you today?
I am here in the present, and I am doing great. And
Great
healthy.
answer. Great answer. Nice to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're yellow. Rashida, my sister. Who will you hug today, Rashida?
I didn't hear you.
Who will you hug today, Miss Rashida?
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I am going to hug myself first of all, and then I'm going to hug my 3 grandkids that's running around the alleyway down the road.
Wow. I like that. I like the grandkids.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Same.
Giovanni, what are you grateful for today?
Today I am grateful for, what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful for friends.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. Thank you so much for that great answer. It's simple and easy. So, my good people, our guest today is one of the closest friends I have in my entire life. It's a big statement, right? Known her since 2011, believe it or not. And the bond that we've created is spectacular. Let me tell you something about her because you need to know this. It's really good, right? So Kathleen is a mother, a massage therapist, partner, avid friend, and life explorer. She enjoys learning and practicing many aspects and practices of human health and finding balance between being healthy and having a great life while being human and rolling with the punches. In the words of a dear elder, if it's not flowing, I ain't going. This life is a roller coaster, and keeping up with great health practices for body, mind, spirit make it a little easier with the ups and downs and rounds and rounds. Welcome once again to the Daily Huddle, Miss Kathleen Kraft.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Chase, for that fabulous welcome. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Every time I do what I can, you know that about me. So this question today, right? are you consciously deciding to be well? I know some people are probably saying, well, that's like saying, are you consciously going to put your clothes on today? Of course we want to be well. And I beg to differ, because certain people are not, right, consciously deciding to be well. How do you specifically, being a massage therapist, touching people's bodies and knowing or feeling that they have, how do you unpack this question based on how you are showing up and your talents and your things? What does it mean? What does this question mean?
So I'll start by saying this. Many years ago, I learned the phrase, routine lulls the mind to sleep.
Oh, right now on my book.
And so daily, I try to do things in a little bit of a different order. So do I make coffee first? Do I make my mushroom coffee? Do I wake the child? Do I write in my journal? I try to do things in a little bit of a different order to keep my mind at least a little bit quicker. And then that carries into my day. So am I always conscious that I'm putting on my clothes, or am I always conscious that I'm washing my hair? I try with the best of my ability, even to do my shower routine differently. So do I brush my teeth in the shower, out of the shower? That's where it starts.
That's a great answer. It really is, because I know exactly what that feels like. I'm so glad you answered that way. So in the realm of consciousness, and we were speaking earlier when I brought the word consciousness up, and Gio said, oh, that's one that, I have to think about. When we say consciously deciding, do you think that means that it particularly means we know we're deciding, or are some people unconsciously deciding, if you know what I'm saying?
I think many people are unconsciously deciding to move through their day,
right?
And allowing life to be the maitre d', or the guider, the director, rather than stopping. And I love stop signs. I love red lights. I love U-turn signs, because they force my brain to have a visual of what I need to do on the conscious level. And then the more I see those things and take them into my awareness, rather, maybe consciousness is a word that can be switched with awareness. Because I know when I'm in a moment where my humanness is taking over, that I can have a decision. I can put up a stop sign in my mind and make a choice. So that's a practice on its own.
Right.
That's a practice.
It is totally a practice. What fascinates me the most about life in general is that we know, how people say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is knowledge. And when you choose to use it, it can become power. But by itself, it's not powerful, right? And I say that, and you can chime in on this, because we know how good apples and oranges and grapes and pears and plums and mangoes are. Mm-hmm. We know that we're not really supposed to smoke. We know that if we take that third, fourth, fifth bite of that humongous burger from our favorite place, that tomorrow if we do it again and again and again, that's going to hurt. We know those things. Mm-hmm. However, we do them and we become addicted to what you said in the beginning. We get habit. We create habits, and then it becomes harder for us to come back down to zero again. What I'm going to ask you in your personal life. I find you to be a very balanced person. However, I know that no one's perfect. So what happens in your life where you come upon a decision you have to make consciously and you decide to do something different? Can you give me an example of that?
So I can form my own habits. Mm-hmm. And when I see that I've done something for a week or 2 weeks, I check in with myself.
Right.
And is this good? Is this not good? Is this progressing me towards my optimization as a human or not? So say I'm just in a series where around the holidays, we're with people, we're imbibing, we're eating, we're taking in food. After a couple events, I look at my life and I'm like, this is not, maybe I have one less, maybe I have a little less, because we still want to spend time with our friends and family and loved ones, but there's a place where it becomes essential that I drink water more often in a week, or choose not to have the things that are all there, which we can. I mean, you don't have to stop these things. It's just a matter of having one bite, like you said, instead of 5, having a couple instead of a month's worth of things. So that's basically what I try to do, check in with myself at least weekly. And I came across a book recently called Dream Big. And this Bob Goff author says that every Thursday he quits something. And it doesn't, he quits something every Thursday. And he's like, if you know you're doing something and it's not good for you, don't wait till Thursday. But most people don't want to quit something because they have to find a reason to explain to other people why they've quit something. So if you just say, I quit something every Thursday, it makes it easier. So I try to play tricks and be playful with myself. So I check in. Is this good? Do I feel good when I wake up in the morning? Did I dream well overnight? Did I drink enough water? And then do better the next day.
Man, the reason why I just got like a burst of energy from another area where I was thinking about the people who somehow have lost the ability to consciously decide. They're so caught in their area that they feel like they have to be there. This is where I'm at. This is just who I am now. This is what I do. I get up, I have my 2 cups of coffee. At lunchtime, I have my favorite sandwich and another coffee and a soda. And at night, they're there. And I wonder what would you suggest for somebody who I know in deep inside, they want to be consciously deciding to be well, but they're having a hard time. What would you decide to them? And what would be like I don't want to say an anecdote, but something that you can suggest, being in the holistic world as you are? Give us a couple things that would bring somebody into more of a conscious state to make better decisions.
I try to have pictures of what life will be like in 5 to 10 years. And I take from my own life experience or those of loved ones that I've had that have passed or had health issues or concerns. And I look at their lives. And I try to suggest to people that if you're going on this path, just be aware of where it ends. I mean, there's infinite humans we can look at in life. There's stories, there's newscasts, there's briefs, there's autobiographies, there's tons of information to find what a life will look like along a certain health path or sickness path. So do you want diabetes? Do you want to be obese? Do you want to end up in a hospital bed? This is where the path is projecting. And every point in human history, there's a place in someone's life where they can stop and make a turn and have a different outcome. I mean, people that are inflexible can be more flexible in a week or 2, just by doing make a quarter twist. You don't have to stop everything, but make a conscious decision to do something a little bit different, to change the trajectory of your path. So I try to give them a picture of what it's going to look like in 5 or 10 years if they keep on this path. And it might be a month, because they might, all of a sudden be diagnosed with something, or get in a car accident and have something else happen where they end up in the hospital and they're diagnosed with something that they wouldn't have even known. So I try to make it a life experience where, do you want someone else to have to stop this choice for you? Or are you able and willing to make a quarter twist in your life, to drink more water, to start stretching? It doesn't have to be huge, but it can make a huge difference.
As you're talking, I couldn't push it away. I thought about our mutual friend, Irene. And of course, I can't bring the whole story to the huddle now, and I'll bring it up another time, but we have a mutual friend that passed away about 1.5 years ago, and she made a conscious decision not to go to doctors, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And you and I were both connected to her, and we would understand that that's her choice. And yet she would move around and do her life the way she did, whatever, happy, crazy, whatever. And I remember seeing her brain scan when I went to the hospital, and it looked like a coloring book from a little kid, coloring in the lines. I only bring that up because I really want to implore people to decide to be well. Just decide to be well. everything is that journey, right? So as I ask you what people can do, I also think a huge thing, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, is the association. What are we associated with that helps us along our journey? What do you think about that? And how, when you see your clients, do they speak about their associations, or do they say, well, I want to be healthy, but my husband eats like a garbage truck and I can't do anything about it, or, you know, whatever the case may be? Do you find that that happens?
I definitely find that people find reasons in their current life not to change. So rather than force a change, there's these gates that we take in information. Our eyes, our ears, our mouths is what we take in to our bodies. And it's not just the people, it's the things we listen to, it's the things we expose our eyes to, it's negative and positive. It's life producing or life inhibiting. And so rather than telling someone they shouldn't eat with their spouse, give them choices that are alternative. You know, if their husband or wife likes to eat something that is not that great, find a way to make it healthier. Don't stop eating it or don't force them to change, but find an alternative that allows the self to change without inhibiting or forcing the other. Change what you listen to, you know, change the way that you talk to yourself. Allow yourself to imbibe in certain things, but not as much, like we said.
Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Whew, boy, thank you for using that word, imbibe. That's a great word. Life producing or life inhibiting? I mean, that explains it all, right?
Yeah.
And when I watch people that are around me, I know you've experienced this, but you know, you go out somewhere and you're eating, and then everyone's eating like some stuff that's going to take them about 20 days to get out of their system. And I'm having something that's just whatever, fluid, water, like whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up a good point. Some people don't change just because they don't want the backlash of what their people are going to say. Like, I was somewhere, I can't remember where it was, and someone was eating, and I was like, I thought you were vegan. And she goes, yeah, but, you know, I want to be with everybody at the party. This is a true story. It really happened. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't judge her because whatever, we're just human. But it's interesting because right now, and I believe this wholeheartedly, there are more options to consciously be well than there have ever been in the history of time. I don't care if you're analog, highly digital, whatever the case may be. We could shut this down right now, all go to our computers and get 20 things online that will help us to be more well and more fluid. But as I said, and I say this with much respect, there are people who are just not there. They can't reach for that bar because they've gone so far below sea level that they would love someone to pull them up so they can get momentum. Right. And I know that you offer services that rejuvenate people. And as much as I know you, I would think that while you're massaging people or sometime before or after, you also may give them some helpful hints about what to eat or what to put in your body, or try having some more ginger and garlic, or try doing this, doing that. Do you as a person have any specific like food choices that you make consciously that you know are helping your temple, helping you be more fluid?
Yes, I do. To answer all the questions,
Right.
I ask.
I'm excited to see you. There's a lot of questions.
I ask my clients questions to sort of get a barometer on where they are and what they might be open to. And the questions sort of trigger a little jolt of oh, I didn't realize my body was a body of water and movement makes it healthy. Or right. I didn't realize papaya helps my stomach, or I didn't realize ginger was really great, or garlic was a great boost for the immune system. And our bodies are made of water and cells. And so, I mean, personally, I just switched from coffee to mushroom coffee, and I did some research and I looked it up, and I'm into it, and it's great, and my body feels better. So, you know, if people are open to that, I suggest that. I also drink something called ASEA, and it's just salt water. basically. And so I offer that to my clients, just letting them know that there's a possibility of rejuvenating the cells without having to change your whole life. At least there's something you can do every day that assists the body in healing itself if you're not going to change your habits. Because some people don't want to radically change their life, but they can take something every morning that might help them feel better. Just simply adding a little movement makes the body healthier. So yeah, there's a lot of little things, and it's always specific to the client because everybody's at a different place.
Totally get that. I totally get that. Let's break away a little earlier today and take some questions. I feel like last time we went all the way to the edge because that's what we do. Does anyone have any questions for Kathleen as she's here? I want to give a little bit more time today than normal because, man, we can talk forever.
It's true.
Anyone at all? Okay, I have another concept I want to ask you about, but if no one has any question right now, that's fine. Also, the information is on the page. If you need to get in touch with Kathleen, if you're in the Boca area, she is absolutely amazing. I just want to say that right now. The other thing that I was going to ask you about, and even specifically,
I have my hand up.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you, Kathleen, given that you are in the practice of supporting others, you were mentioning that, or while you guys were speaking, what I was getting was that one of the things that makes it difficult for a person to shift their habits to conscious habits is their environment, right? That's what I was hearing. And in your practice, what have you seen that people who have been able to do the shift, what have you seen that they are able to do? Like you could see it, because what I am pointing to is that I believe that most of the people who will hear this call and the ones that are here, the actions are not in our blind spots, like what to do or what we should do is not in the blind spot. But something else is in the blind spot that doesn't allow me to take the action in direction to a conscious living, conscious, healthy living. What have you seen? And so the question is, what have you seen that people are able to do that they get to that place where they say, yeah, no, I'm taking this new direction, regardless of my previous habits or regardless of my environment?
So I've seen that what helps people in general is checking in with the self, asking, whether it's prayer or meditation or a daily check-in or weekly, what is it that's keeping me from making this shift? Show me who or what I'm listening to or what I'm doing that's keeping me from. What do I need to quit? What do I need to look at? It's really just asking the question consciously. It's almost like having a dream journal next to my bed when I sleep. Just having it there makes me more aware to remember my dreams. So simply going into the consciousness with a question usually will bring about an answer. So what am I not seeing? What am I not looking at? And then have a conversation with someone who knows me really well. What do you see something in my life that I'm spending too much time with or that I'm not spending enough time with that's keeping me from making these choices? And at the end of the day, ideal relationships and friendships, like you were grateful for, are what will help us make decisions sometimes. It's not always, we don't have to do life separately. We're interdependent. And so what I've seen work for a lot of people is having at least one other person that they can reflect with. Going into that private space and having a conversation with myself, and then going out and seeking the advice or reflection with a coach, with a dear friend, with a family relative that's really always been on my case or pointing things out. My aunt is always there to point things out for me. And I don't always like what she says, but she sees me from, not my perspective. So that's what I've seen that works for the most part. It's being conscious, asking questions, and seeking interdependence.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kathleen.
You're welcome. My
That was
pleasure.
deep. That was deep. You got deep on that one. I like that. we always talk about, or as we are speaking about consciousness, or deciding to be well through consciousness, I always say that people leave out the most obvious, which is that connection, like you just said, the connection with people. Like, our connection has galvanized my life, no question. And I think about, well, what would have happened if I didn't meet you? Would there be another person that galvanized us the way we did? And is that no, we're here. We're right here where we're supposed to be, right? Consciously friends, consciously making decisions. And I think that's really powerful. So in the realm of our conversation, when we talk about consciously deciding to be well, to me, there's just multiple benefits of doing that, like more than we can even talk about. And again, I ask, if we know, what's that sentence? If you know better, you do better. That's not true either. It's just like, wow, it's mind blowing. Like, we have all the things around us and we're not reaching for them. And I would say to you, Kathleen, thank you for your contribution to life, really, because you are a healer, you are a massage therapist, you are almost always smiling, you always have something nice to say, you have knowledge that you impart upon others that is so good. That's my association with you. That's why I connect with you. And I think we definitely need to connect with a person like that. I say a person because that's easy. Everybody can do one person. Well, one person. There's people who have 8 people. I'm talking about one. And that's the theme that I want to place in everyone's head. Having you here, we are a live example of this, but I'm saying in general, to consciously decide. And if you're in a place, Kathleen Craft, where you, I'll ask you a question that I ask sometimes to people. Do you have a companion outside of yourself in a book form or an audio form that brings you into a better consciousness? What could you recommend to someone on the Zoom today to be a little bit more relaxed and a little more conscious, or something that promotes a more conscious atmosphere?
I would say that any book or audio that's inspirational to each individual. So it's not the fact that I reference poetry or that I reference any sort of religious scripture or spiritual scripture, or Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, where it talks about the body and how we hold on to different pathologies based on a mindset that we have. It really, there's a plethora of references. There's so many podcasts, and just find one.
Right.
Find one that inspires each individual.
Right. You're
Because
absolutely
everyone comes from a different background.
You're absolutely
So,
right.
The
tools.
The tools. Find a poet, find an author, find an artist, find a podcast like this, where you can find some inspiration that speaks to your soul and your mind, that doesn't bring you down. Because we know when we listen to newscasts or frequencies that we feel a certain way. We shouldn't eat when we listen to things that bring us down. We shouldn't eat angry. But yeah, get into a space where you're in the exploration of it, because they're out there. Like you said, there's 1,000 references we could find.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any other questions before we rule out, as we say? Anyone else? All right. Well, it goes without saying that you've definitely left us with some golden information. I wrote some stuff down, and I'm glad that I did. We can do an hour on this topic for sure. But we are going to roll out with our tenets as we always do. Please remember to love, Remember to give more than you are giving now, because the world definitely needs it. Remember to move the body so that we have more fluidity, more ability to do the things that we want to do. Eat mostly plant-based, but hey, those of you who are not completely plant-based, nothing wrong. Just eat mostly plant-based and let the body relax into that feeling. Also, sleep as much as possible. We recommend 7 to 10 hours. Sleep like a baby, as they say, literally, right? And hey, stress less and check yourself before you wreck yourself. That is our time, good people. Have a great day. Do the best you can do. Be well. And we are here each and every day.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. Thank you so much,
Thank
Chase,
you. Thank
Daily
you,
Huddle family.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
And